You're listening to Sip and Grow the podcast, the show where we taste awesome, delicious wines while having unfiltered conversations about our passions, experiences, struggles, entrepreneurship, and life. My name is Nicole DiPasquale, and I'm a wine enthusiast just trying to pursue her passions and dreams while taking you on the journey with me, one episode at a time. My ultimate goal is to not only bring you wine knowledge and value, but also inspire you to enjoy your process and journey in pursuing your passions and dreams. Because guess what? The person you become while enduring the process is more important. So sit back, grab a glass, and let's sip and grow together. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Sip and Grow with me, your host, Nicole DiPasquale. Currently, I am freezing my butt off once again, but it's totally fine. We're in it to win it today. I am excited because I want to talk about my trip to Napa. So my family came and visited last weekend, and we went to Napa Valley and we visited a couple of vineyards. Some were great, some were not so great, but it's part of the experience. Sometimes you get a hit or sometimes you get a miss, and we got a little bit of both, but overall it was so nice to see them and spend some time with them. And obviously I enjoy eating and drinking with them because we did have amazing food. And yeah, they enjoyed everything. I showed them a little bit around here in Sebastopol. Then we also went to Healdsburg for one night, and then we ate in Napa the day that we went to Napa. And actually, so we visited, my favorite vineyard that we visited in Napa was Palmaz. It's basically owned by this like Argentinian guy who created the heart stent in like years ago, and it became a huge success, obviously, where him and his wife bought this vineyard in Napa Valley and basically built it from ground up, and now he lives there with him and his family. They each have their own houses on the vineyard. It's like 650 acres, I think is what the lady had told us, which is an insane amount of land. But the whole experience, it was on the pricey side. The tasting was on the pricey side, but that whole experience was worth it. We just learned all the history behind it, the technological advances in the actual like cellar and winery part of it was insane. His son is like a computer science genius and basically created a system in the winery. So they have their own like system that controls like all the tanks and the temperatures, and it basically analyzes everything so that there's no room for mistake, which was insane because I'm currently like working a wine harvest and doing all these processes, and I was like, damn, if I had that, like you're eliminating a lot of like errors just by having those technological advances. It is a little scary because it's like a lot of technology, and at what point is that good, but it was really, really cool. The tanks rotate and they're like below gravity because there's a whole thing with gravity and the way like the grapes fall into the tanks and how they process the grapes. It was amazing. I felt like I was in another world, like in the future, basically. But the tasting was 10 out of 10. They did a food pairing with each of the wines that we tasted, and most of their wines are Cabernet Sauvignon. We did have it was a white, we did have a white wine, I just forgot what it was. And then it was like a sweet wine. It was like I think it was like a Moscato. But we did enjoy the entire experience. My parents did order some of their wines, so I'm excited to try them when they ship it to our house. And I think if you're in the Napa Valley area and you want to have a good tasting experience and price point is not like a huge deal for you, definitely reach out to them and schedule a tasting. It's a great experience, and I think every tasting should be as hands-on as they were. So yeah, if you want to check them out, check them out. And today, so with that said, today I kind of wanted to talk about the Cabernet Sauvignon grape variety, which is one of the most well-known red grape varieties in the world. And it's very popular here in California. I do like my Cabernet Sauvignons. They are a little bit more on the intense side. So, and it also depends what producer I'm drinking, just because there are some people that add a lot of stuff to their Cabernet Sauvignons that make them aggressive and intense and not my cup of tea. But I'm not a fan of people adding stuff to their wine, so that's another factor. Like, I don't like messing around with the whole process of the wine. I just like it to naturally do its thing, and if I need to add anything to like help support, you know, the yeast growing or the whole process of fermentation, like that's fine. I just don't like to change the taste of the wine after it's fermented by adding sugars. Like, there's a lot of producers in Napa and, well, a lot of producers everywhere that are like big name producers that just like to add a bunch of shit to their wine that makes it, you know, likable to people because they have the big brand name behind them, and it just tastes like sugar, like pure sugar, and that's not what we're going for. We're going for good quality wines that are made with attention, care, and love. That is what we're going for. So this wine was also donated to the podcast, so I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. I hope it's going to be good, but I actually researched them, and it was a pretty cool story. So this is Tympany is the name of the winery producer, and it's a Cabernet Sauvignon 2018. I don't think this vintage is out yet, so you can't buy it just yet, and I feel like probably it won't be at its optimal, like it won't be bad, but I feel like if I were to give it 5 to 10 years potentially, it would taste a lot better. But we're gonna see when we taste it. I haven't opened it yet, but I did want to get fill you guys in on their story. So I was reading up on them, and it's owned by this guy, well, this couple, Louis and Linda. So Louis Jordan is his name, and he was actually named Louis Jordan because his mom was like a huge jazz fan, and there was this saxophonist that was famous in the jazz world called Louis Jordan. So what did his mom do? Named her son Louis Jordan because that was one of her favorite jazz musicians. So basically he was named after that saxophonist that his mom loved, and he actually studied business and management in college, and he's from northern Philadelphia. So Linda is from the Midwest. She grew up on a farm, then decided to leave the farm life in the Midwest, moved to Chicago, then she moved to Philadelphia, and then she moved, I think, to like San Francisco is what I read. And she was like in the sales world. So both of them at one point meet up. Well, they both go to Napa Valley around the same time. She's there with a group of friends. He's just there. He loves wine. She loves wine. He loves food. She loves food. And they love jazz. What happens naturally? They both connect. They both love each other. Well, like not love each other, but like they connect on a romantic level. And then they hit it off from there. End up getting together. And he actually bought a place. So I think when they got together, they went to UC Davis here to study wine. It was like a wine program. They both entered in a wine program here at UC Davis. And then he had bought a property in Hillsburg, actually, that had space to build a vineyard. And in 2003, they ended up building a vineyard on their house. And they ended up planting the like 5 grape varietals that are famous for like the Bordeaux style wines. So Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Petit Verdot, and Malbec. So with that, they created their vineyard, and she had like farming experience. So it was a lot of trial and error for her, but she had kind of a background in agriculture because of her family of living and growing up in a farm. And then she kind of just learned as she went with the whole vine situation and how to handle them. And he manages more of like the business side of things. So fast forward, they decided to name the company Tympany because Tympany 5 was the ensemble of Louis Jordan, the great Louis Jordan that his mother loved, and he wanted to honor his mother by naming the company Tympany. So that is the story behind this specific producer, which I thought was nice and cool. I just love learning the backgrounds and stories of people who create their own wine label or vineyard or winery, because like I said, one of the reasons why I love wine is because there's always a story behind it, whether it be, you know, how you like came up with your vineyard or your winery idea, or whether it be how, you know, the grapes did in one harvest. There's a story to everything. The soil matters, the weather matters, everything affects everything, and each year and each vintage is different, and that's what makes it so beautiful and amazing. And we love wine. We want wine. Anyways, let's go ahead and open up this 2018 vintage and try this bad boy. So like I said, Cabernet Sauvignons tend to be more on the heavier side. They're full-bodied most of the time, and they are higher on the tannins, but they have like medium to high acidity and then medium to high tannins, but I feel like it's more towards the high side than the low side, or the medium side is what I meant to say. So I do have my preferences. I am picky with my Cabernet Sauvignons because I either love it or hate it. I don't think there's an in-between for me, so we're gonna see how that goes. Because I've had some, to be honest, I've had some that are like aggressively intense. Like they're like so heavy, they taste like, and this is an example of a bad producer, right? Like you can just tell, and I'm not gonna say the name because it's a popular name and we don't want to just, you know, everyone does their own thing, and some people love their wines, and some people don't like their wines. But basically, this producer, like the way they make their Cabernet Sauvignon is like very aggressive and intense. It's like almost, the liquid's almost like as thick as syrup, and like it just has the intense dark chocolate flavors, and it just like after 2 sips you feel full and it doesn't sit right in your stomach. And I'm just like, no, like that is not the Cabernet Sauvignon I want to drink with my dinner, because I need something that's going to go down good and it's not going to be aggressive on my body. So not saying that this wine is like that. We're going to try this wine right now. We're going to see how it goes. And then go from there. So like I said, this is a 2018. It's probably not at its prime time to drink, because Cabernet Sauvignons do better with time. So once you buy a Cabernet Sauvignon, do the same thing that you would do with like a Cabernet Franc, right? If you buy like 6 bottles of the same Cabernet Sauvignon, drink it right when you drink 1 bottle right when you buy it. Then wait like 5 years, drink it at the 5-year mark. Then drink it at the 7-year mark, 9-year mark, and 10-year mark, and then see what like time frame works best for you and your taste buds. And like that way you will know how you like your Cabernet Sauvignons, if you like to wait 5 years to drink them, or if you want to drink them right away, or if you want to drink them at the 10-year mark. But like everyone is different and everyone has different tastes and preferences. So you can experiment if you buy like 6 bottles of the same wine. Anyways, so it's a dark plum color. It still has, it could use some aging for sure. And like I said, like Cabernet Sauvignons are very complex. They're very opulent. They're very bold and like in your face. So if you don't like that type of wine, I would definitely suggest not to go for a Cabernet Sauvignon. But I definitely feel like this is probably the boldest, most aggressive, full-bodied red wine you can drink. So if you're not into that, don't do it. Just don't do it. Trust me. Okay. So I'm definitely getting plum flavors, blackcurrant flavors, blackberry. A hint of sage. I even get a smell of like anise in there for sure. And like also tobacco leaves. And there's something else in there. Hold on. Like a hint of vanilla, like a little bit. But definitely heavy on like the spices. Like the sage is hitting me. I'm even getting a little bit of like rosemary. And I even get a floral component, like violets. Yeah. All right, let's taste this bad boy. Oof. So it's actually really good. This is heavier on the tannins, so it does sit a little bit in the back of your tongue and then goes down. So it doesn't go down smooth, but I actually, this is the way I like my Cabernets. It's actually really, really good. I would personally drink it like this because I feel like if I were to wait too long, it would be too aggressive. But to me, you know what this reminds me of? A good Chianti Classico. Like a very high on tannins Chianti Classico. This is what this is kind of reminding me of, which I love Chianti Classico. So if you like Chianti Classicos, I would definitely go for this type of cab. But like I said, Cabernet, for me, Cabernet Sauvignons are like trial and error. You have to find which producer you like to drink. I tend to go more towards like Argentinian producers. I haven't really tried a lot of American producers just because the ones I have tried have been more of a miss than a hit. But this one is a hit. I would rate this 7.5 out of 10. Let me know what you think in the comments below. DM me, message me. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you at the next one. Hope you drink your wine tonight. Cheers.